Hey guys, Matt here at Brewery. This is the other video that I'm putting together today because I wanted to kind of keep these separate. I had realized on my last video that I didn't have my spotlight on over there, so hopefully the lighting in the Homebrew Wednesday was all right. But for the brew day that we did today, it was a pale ale. I'm calling it 4 poured. It's sort of a take on like a 5 Alive beer. I've done it before. I did it last year. This time I decided to make a few adjustments just to see what I could sort of nudge with the recipe and what I like. But basically, it was just 10 pounds of regular pale ale malt from Great Western. I put 3/4 pound of Swain Munich Light in there. Let's see, and I put 4 ounces of each of Caramel 40, Honey, Victory, and Torrefied Wheat. So hopefully those amounts worked out all right. I wanted to keep the percentage of all the specialty malts kind of low. Water profile on this I went with was the Citra Pale Ale that I made before. I did the same kind of water profile with that. I did like a 3-to-1 sulfite or sulfate to chloride. So in my case, it was 150 to 50. And then the calcium I got, what did I get there? 80? Yeah, 80 is what I aimed for there. So to achieve that, I ended up with 7.8 grams of gypsum, 2 1/4 of calcium chloride, and 0.8 of Epsom salt, just to kind of umph the magnesium up a bit too. Hops that I used in this one, I used Comet for bittering. And I put in, so I put 0.7 ounces of that, and then 2 ounces of Ella, as well as a ½ ounce of Citra in the Whirlpool. So hopefully that was enough. I was trying to aim for like a 43 IBUs, and that's what Beersmith said it would be with all that. I did put an ounce of a sweet orange peel in at the end of the boil as well. I do plan on doing like a dry hop with this. I'll put in some more Citra and some more Ella in the dry hop as well. Now, when I do the dry hop, I'll probably do what I did before. Let it do its normal fermentation. And as it's getting to the end, I did put the tilt in there, so I'll be able to know when it gets close to being done. I'll go ahead and chuck that Citra and Ella in there. I'm also going to try to put some lime zest in there, but I'm going to go light on that, maybe like a ½ a lime or something. I don't want it to go too crazy. And I am using the Kvike Juggernaut in this beer. So yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and check out the Brewday, and then we'll see how this goes. Cheers. All right, get ready to brew. Just rinsing out the filter, really. Brand new filter, so just running some water through this for a while. System's working out pretty good. The water coming in here from the hose. It's just my air bleed there for when it's done, and then just out of here, I just have it running outside right now. But once this is rinsed out for a few minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and start filling up the HLT. All right, I've got filling up the HLT now. Slowly drain about 50 liters. In this case, it's about 13 gallons. I don't like to fill it all the way to the top. Leave a little bit of room in case I need to adjust anything. It's rare, but it's nice to have that option. But yeah, this is pretty nice. So you can just fill this up straight from my filter right into the bottom of the kettle. It's nice to get that working again. Just add in my potassium metabisulfate. That's to take care of the chlorine, chloramines in the water that might be there. All right, then what I do here, now that we're done, go ahead and just remove this cable from there, move it over to the air bleed, so we don't get water everywhere. Shut this off, turn this on, and it'll just let out whatever water is just still sitting in the system. And then this way I can turn off the water here, and actually I have the valve here. Let me turn off. Just lets off the hose. this way. I guess I have to tighten that. But yeah, this way it'll just let out any remaining water that might be sitting in the line. And as you can see, it's just kind of flowing down there. And just give that a second, and then disconnect this. We won't have a bunch of water spraying out at me, which is always nice. And I'll go over here and got the HLT starting to warm up. Turn on the water pump. Alright, time to crack up the greens. Alright, ready to crush. Starting to deliver the water. Got the salts just kind of laying there on the top. Mix them in there in a minute. Got our clip set here. We know what to bring the water down to in the HLT. Delivering about 4 gallons. And well, it's nice enough out today. We're going to do some burgers and some cheddar wurst and some other things there on the grill for dinner. So watch the water come up there. Alright, we've got the water coming up there. It's almost up to the top. Alright. Overshot by a little bit. That's okay. Just have to do a little less in the sparge. Yeah, so we're right about the 10-gallon mark there. Go ahead and mix this up. Alright, all mashed in. Just going to get this going here. Got all the cables hooked up to go through the herms. Go ahead and turn this on. And we're shooting for a mash of 152, so this will sort of balance out here in just a couple of minutes once we get this flow going. So we're probably about halfway through the mash. Just checking the checking everything. I think the temperature is probably slightly off on the HLT. I was messing with the PID, so it seems like it's going awry, but only by a couple degrees, so I'm not too terribly worried about it. 150 is a good mash temperature as well, so I'll leave that alone, I think. Just checking the pH here. We're at about 5.3, which is fine. It's a nice pale ale. So, and actually the temperature is a little bit off because I did calibrate this at 70, and I did cool this down a little bit further. So it's going to be, you know, the low 5.3 range, and that's perfectly fine. Alright, with just a few minutes left in the mash, go ahead and start to ramp up the temperature here for mash out, 168, and then we'll start sparging. Now we're sparging, filling up the boil kettle. Got a nice deep golden color on this. It's going to be a nice pale ale for sure. And right now I'm just sort of dialing in the sparge water, trying to get it up to about an inch above the grain bed, and once it gets there, I'll start slowing this up. We have our clip set, so we're trying to get 5 gallons moved over for sparging. And looks like we're almost there, so we'll go ahead and start slowing this down here shortly. Alright, so we're there, we're an inch over, so I'm going to go ahead and start slowing it down, catch it up to the rate of what's going into the boil kettle. Close that up to preserve the heat. And yeah, once this gets above the element, I'll go ahead and start kick-starting the boiler here. Probably about halfway, a little over halfway through the sparge. We got the element submerged now, and it's almost up to that temperature probe, so that's good enough for me. Go ahead and set it to 200. We'll get that going. So we can bring this up to temperature and hold it there until we're at volume, and then we'll start the actual boil. And also got the hops and everything measured out. I got the yeast out. So we have some Comet here for bittering. 15 minutes, we're going to throw in some sweet orange peel. We got the Whirlflock tablet and the yeast nutrient there. And then all this is going to go into Whirlpool. Trying to get some flavor out of this more so than I am bittering. But we do have the bittering to get that balance for us. We got 2 ounces here of Ella, and this is some Citra that's going to go there. And then this is from the yeast starter, and I washed the yeast real good. So this is the Kvike Juggernaut, and that's a lot in there, I know, but I'm going to dump it all in there anyway. And that is all from that little flake that Main Brew Guy Gary sent me. It's amazing. Just give it a proper starter, and yeah, went to town. So this should be a good one. And I'm just going to ferment this in the house, I think, because the ferment chamber is still being used over there for cold crashing of the sour beer, which is almost done. Alright, we're at volume now. Actually a little over volume. I'm supposed to only collect 7¼ gallons. Almost 7½. Alright, so we got this to 200 already. Well, I'm going to change this to be manual mode. 100%. So we got 100% manual mode. That way we can come up to the boil. Once it gets there, we can go ahead and turn down that efficiency. We'll be rolling soon. Alright, got a good roll and boil going there now. Through hot break. I'm going to turn it down to 60. So we'll see how this boil goes, whether or not we're going to keep it at 60 or 55 like I normally do. Alright, I lied. Hot break's not over yet. I'll let this calm down for a minute. And then I'll add the hops. We don't need an explosion. It's never fun. I did wind up turning this down to 55. That's normally where I keep it. So it's pretty much where I usually end up. These nice 5500 elements are pretty good. Alright, I think we're pretty safe. So go ahead and put in our bittering charge. This is some Comet. And toss that in there. We're at the 15-minute mark. So we're going to go ahead and add in all of this. This is the orange peel, the yeast nutrient, and the Orflock tablet. So the Orflock tablet I'm just going to toss straight in. And the rest of the stuff, just so we don't get those orange peels mixed up in the chiller, just going to put that in our screen here. And just continuing the cleaning. I like to do things as I go. It kind of shortens the brew day. I've already run some alkaline breweries wash through the mash tun, because it's been a couple of brews since I've done that. I usually give it a good rinse regardless, but every couple of brews I give it a solid cleaning. Right now we're just moving some star sand through here just to keep everything nice and tidy, sanitary. Just sanitizing the pump. Same thing with the pump. The water pump usually only ever has water in it, but since it's been a couple of brews around the breweries, washed through it, rinsed it, and now doing some star sand. Alright, with 10 minutes left on the clock, we're going to go ahead and start sanitizing the chiller and making sure we don't have any the hot side aeration issues. Open up our valves. Get everything running through the chiller. And I've only got the lines hooked up. We're not chilling, of course. We're not going to for a while because we are doing a whirlpool as well. But this gives us a chance to get everything running through all the lines while it's still boiling. Alright, let's flame out. And now we're going to chill this down to about 185 for the whirlpool. Alright, got it down there, turn off the water. And now we'll go ahead and add in all of this goodness. This is the Citra and the Ella. I'll give that a 15-minute whirlpool, and then we'll start chilling this down the rest of the way. We are done. And I just cut on the chilling water, and it's already come down another 10 or so degrees. Yeah, the chiller is really good. Groundwater is probably still decent enough that I shouldn't need any ice or anything to bring this all the way down to pitching temps. But yeah, I only turned it on for maybe a minute originally to try to bring me down to the 185 for whirlpooling, and it got down to 175, and it was down to 170 by the time whirlpooling was done. So yeah, really good chiller, works really well. I know I've had a couple of questions about this, so I figure I'd just talk about it quickly now. This is actually from Northern Brewer. It's the Northern Brewer chiller. I actually got it from my homebrew store, so I didn't order it from Northern Brewer. So I guess he did. But support local wherever possible. That's what I was doing here. And I like this one specifically because it's all stainless steel, and it already has all the 1/2-inch NPT threads on every one of those ports. So it makes it really easy for me to hook up all my quick disconnects straight in there without any hassles or any adapters or anything like that. So it works really well. And you know, as you can see, just in the minute I've been talking here, see that? It's already down to 140. So I like to get it to about 100 in the kettle, and then I'll start transferring to the fermenter, because by the time that it's 100 up there, down here it's pitching temps. As you can see, we're coming back into the kettle at 80 at the moment, and that'll continue to drop. And that's at full force too, so we should get right in the range we need to get into when we move this to the fermenter. Alright, we were aiming for 1060, and that's what we got. Very nice. Alright, we got what, almost 5.5 gallons, which is usually what I aim for. And we got the tilt. Nice and sanitized again. Our yeast. This is the Kvike Juggernaut. It's going to be a really nice pitch. Just go ahead and seal that up with a airlock. Looks like we pitched at 68, so that'll work. Stick it inside in the room temperature, and it should be going tonight, I would imagine.